Hello everybody, Bagloper here. Today I'm going to implement my own version of Singleton class in Ruby. First of all, what is a Singleton class? A Singleton class is basically a class that allows you to create only one instance of that particular class. In other words, it restricts you to create multiple instances of a class. But before we jump into the implementation, it's crucial to understand how Ruby's new class method works, because that's how we create new instances of a class. Now what happens when you call .new method in any Ruby class? Well, two major things happen. First of all, it creates a new object of the current class which calls it. Secondly, it calls the initialize method of the object and initializes with the arguments passed to it, and then finally returns the fully initialized object. So here is how new method roughly works. So we have this new method which takes some arguments, and then we create a new object by calling the allocate method. Allocate method basically creates a new object. Then we call this initialize method on that object and initializes if there are arguments passed to it. The reason that we're using send method is because this initialize method is a private method and you cannot directly call it. And then we're returning the fully initialized object. Now let's try to implement our own Singleton class, and I want to call it my Singleton, and inside I want to override the new method which will take some arguments. And here let me create the object by calling the allocate method, then call the object's initialize method. And the reason, as I mentioned earlier, is that to call an object's initialize method we need to use send method. And finally let's return this object. But how do we ensure that only one single instance of this my Singleton class is created? To do that one, let me define an instance variable to memorize it, and I want to put all of this code inside this one. So as you can see, first time my Singleton class's instance is created, it will be memoized to this instance variable, and the subsequent attempt will all return the same value. To verify that this is actually a Singleton class, let me open my terminal and IRB, paste it. Now let me create my Singleton's instance, my Singleton.new, and another instance called new, one more instance of my Singleton class.new. As you can already see, the object ID of all these three instances are exactly same, meaning there's only one instance of this my Singleton class created. So if I do a equals b is true, b equals c is true, and a equals c is true, right? So another way to check if only one instance of my Singleton class is created is using Ruby's object space each object, and then you pass the name of your class Singleton and do this. There's only one. Although I tried to create 3 instances of my Singleton class, only one has been created. So we have successfully implemented a Singleton class in Ruby. Alright guys, this is it for today, and if you want to see similar contents about Ruby language, please subscribe to my channel, and I'd really appreciate that.